welcome to your June 2025 energy report with myself, Aveen, the intuitive, and the angels. There's a buzz in the energy. I'm hearing buzz, busyness, like a busy bee, buzzing, volcanic. There's a strong, sacred, sexual energy. So the thing about this buzz, this buzzing frequency that I'm feeling from the collective, that can be filtered through your energy field as positive, inspiring, electric, magnetic, celebratory, or it can be filtered in a negative fashion. So it depends on where you're at in your body, in your life, how you are going to translate and interpret these energy signatures. And that's true of all these energetic frequencies that we tune into and tap into and experience here in this dimension. But I do feel the overall grand arching theme for June is celebration. There's a joy to it, there's a pleasure, there's a harmony seeking stronger vibe. And I also feel in the last few months, especially the more start of the year up to April, we had some very turbulent, chaotic, and for some people and some parts of the world, troublesome energies where the dark was attempting its last fight to influence. Okay, I do feel and sense that we've, like in the past, that could have led to some really, without giving it energy, when it could have led to some really serious implications for this world. But humanity chose to stay in the light, to stay in love, and to stay in a higher consciousness and awareness about it. And people are definitely saying, we don't want war, we don't want violence, we want peace, we want to treat each other with respect and integrity. And I feel like that has taken a stronger hold in the grids, in the structure, in the geography, the land of this world. So June is us settling into an energy of relief, of moving into a more neutral stance. Now, in saying that, like I said, it depends on where you fall on this. So if you're still dealing with rage or anger or unresolved conflicts and resentments, this buzzing, this real, it's like a buzzing bee energy, it could wear you out, or it could trigger things in you that gives you a chance to reevaluate and to do something, to react to something differently. But I feel for the most part, most of the people who are tuning into this channel have done a lot of work in April and May and continuously throughout our lives. But really the start of the year was selecting and choosing from a very empowered place. And now we get to actually embody and live the selection, the co-creation, the choices that we've made in a very real, communal way. So that brings me to another theme that I'm sensing for June, and that's community. You might find that you are much more involved in your community, or perhaps you're having like family barbecues and get-togethers and celebrations. There's definitely an air of social circles coming together, reconnecting with people that you care about and love, but because you were so busy and so caught up in the turbulence of the last few months, Now with things in a more harmonized energy, you might feel inspired to reach out to that old friend whom you love dearly, but maybe you just weren't in a good place, but now you're feeling brighter, you're feeling inspired. Another theme is creativity, writing, journaling, poetry, publishing, getting that book published, writing that article. For myself, I've been prolifically creating new courses, new classes, new meditations. So there is this air of inspiration where once we actually sit down pen to paper or get the laptop out, it just flows. There's energy and resources to be found, to be used, and to benefit us during this magical, colourful time. Weather-wise, you can nearly always look at the weather and look at the collective consciousness, because they really do, reflect and mirror back to each other. Like there's definitely this, we can look at all the geomagnetic storms, and there's a lot of weather, we've had some, like I actually heard someone in work today say, oh, I hate this like monsoon season, which is funny because in Ireland we don't have monsoon season. But I know what he's saying. He's talking about this crazy days of wild rainfall and heat, and then it completely cools off and it's cold, and then you can have like a day where it's erratically like full throttle summer. So it's almost like we don't have distinct seasons so much anymore, depending on where you are. But in Ireland here, we've noticed that our seasons have seemed to have merged into one almost, and any day could be a random thing. So I think as well that is also information for where we are as a collective at this time too. So with these erratic, random expressions of, maybe there's a tail end of a tropical storm or there's volcanic activity. There is a volcanic vibe to June for sure. Now, that brings me to the sexual energy. This is a very creative time, not just with our hobbies and our pastimes, but also with literal creation. So pregnancy, growing new life, nurturing and nourishing new life. This is, it's not just symbolic. If you're wanting to get pregnant, or you want to have that talk with your partner, maybe you would like your wife and you to try for a child or another child. This is a great time to have those communications, to try for a baby, because this creativity is, it's quite in the root chakra and the sacral, and then also into the solar plexus. So there's a strong sexual component to this energy. And obviously, as always, I encourage you to use that energy in a very wise, responsible and loving way. What else do you want me to say? Let me see. I'm just listening. So I'm just getting fire, passion. There's a lot of passion, and you can use that energy, that sexual energy, in your art, in your painting, in your music making, in your posts, in your content creation. This is a resource. I'm hearing windfall, so it's like it's being poured and showered upon us. Some of you may also find that your debts get paid off, because with this abundance, this prosperous energy flowing around us, this magic of this buzzing energy in June, it can bring in more work. So some of you are going to be inundated with a much more of a workload, much more opportunities to make money, and just to be mindful about keeping a balance with that so that you're not overextending yourself, and to avoid burnout. Because with fire and with this, it's like a fun energy, it's a party energy, it's celebratory, but we want to keep a balance and a neutral place with that without tiptoeing or borderline into debauchery, okay? Because hedonism and debauchery is the negative polarity of that energy. So just to be aware of that, you know, looking at your behaviors and habits. If there's overindulgence, there may be a tendency with this energy to overindulge and to lose track of moderation. So keep that in mind with regards to everything really. But yeah, there's definitely more an influx of avenues to generate money, abundance, opportunities, resources. And I'm also sensing that reputation. So if you have a really good skill and you become more of a master of that skill, you can use that then to attract more clients, more business, more revenue. Okay, I think I'm going to leave it there. But I really love this magical June energy. It's an exciting energy, but again, if you ground that energy, if you embody it, if you drop it down, this is a good tip. When we have an influx of buzzing energy, or even volcanic energy, we get to decipher and translate and filter that energy. So you can run the energy down into the root. That is a very grounding chakra. And then take that down into your feet and visualize like you're dropping an anchor. You can even visualize the anchor from the root, from like your perineum area, and just drop this anchor down deep into the earth's core. And any excess energy that's running rampant, you can just release it and drop it and ground it down into the earth, because the earth, she will take it and she will disperse it naturally. She will harmonize and neutralize that energy. Some people are very sensitive to this energy to a point where they get the shakes, or they almost feel like a volcano themselves with their anger, or if they have triggers or wounds or fears, they can come up. So sometimes our anxiety is actually us tuning in to the earth's frequencies, and it's not even personal. It's not even directly related to our own lives or our own stuff. And we could be like, why am I this untrammeled energy? But again, take responsibility, respond, the ability to respond, take the anxiety and ground it and digest it, metabolize it in a way that it's not excess potential. And excess potential is where we invite in chaos, or we get out of balance. We cross a line of moderation in our energy field, and then that causes us to act out. Maybe we overshop, we overspend. Maybe you overindulge with substances or sex or porn or chocolate or food. So there is a potential to, we need to be mindful of overindulgence, especially in June at this time, because it is such a high, it's a high, right? But again, ground it, do your meditation, do your breath work. The fire breath is perfect. I highly recommend that beautiful fire breath energy where you drop into your sacral chakra behind your navel. You see a big burning fire there, and it's great for digestion. It's great for burning off energy, but also giving energy. And you can do and you kind of snap your navel in and out like that. You kind of work the tummy, and it's something that I would do in a group. If I feel like the group is not grounded, if they're hyperactivity, that's a sign that you're not in a neutral place anymore. So again, you can do these little exercises, your little tools to neutralize the energy. But definitely engage in celebrations, socializing, break out of self-isolation, get into the community. There's a very strong social community, building new bridges with people, new friendships. You might find you're exposed to a lot of new people. There's going to be an increase in romantic connection. So if you're single and you're looking for a new relationship, there's lots of potential. Get out there. There's lots of room and space to meet potential soulmates, people, kindred spirits, twin souls, that kind of energy. There's also twin flame energy there, because we are in this fiery, buzzing, volcanic, highly joyful sexual energy. But again, as always, from a place of balance and self-love first, because when we have the self-love, it naturally flows and radiates out to others. So keep your integrity, integral. Keep that centered place. But there's definitely going to be an activation of an expansion in the lower chakras, which moves up into the heart and the throat, and obviously the middle eye and the crown, and it's so expressive. There's a tendency to overexpress or overshare as well. So again, it's where you're at. It's taking accountability for your frequency and your energy at this time, and how you translate and manage and express that energy. But this is all just to help you navigate the weeks ahead. I wish you a magical, buzzing June. The light in me recognizes the light in you. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up and subscribe for more. God bless.